That's well.
Hey, I'm recording now, mate. So, basically, just for a refresher for anybody watching, obviously introducing Birchy, who's going to be doing this with me. Last time it was Gilly. Both obviously, in my opinion, should be well respected in the community. Won a lot of stuff between them, um, in multiple teams, and multiple titles. Birchy's been about the scene as long as I have, since FIFA 10, I think. Anyway, definitely FIFA 11 because I remember playing against them way back then. Um, Why we did it last time is that I just picked the first three, and went first, and then Birchy will pick the next three. He'll go first, and then obviously we'll ladder comments after each one goes. You can't rate yourself, so obviously I'm not on this list. Are you on this list?
I'm at the bottom now.
So you're on the
Second
list,
a
right? So
lot.
you can't make comment on yourself. You basically have to just sit there and either absolutely torture you or dick ride you, and you have to just take it. Right, so
That's well.
basically we'll get into it then. The first one is obviously Bailey Ince. For me, I think Bailey came to prominence on FIFA 18. I don't remember him before that at any point in time. But I do remember him on FIFA 18, obviously, getting into Wonderful at that time, who end up probably the kind of Premier team on that game, for a stage. I think the actual Premier team over the period in 18 was Wonder Kids. I don't think anybody can deny that. They won the most stuff, so if you won the most stuff, then you're the best team, basically. Um, 19, 20, and 21, he's kind of floated about different teams, but mainly Ultra, FG, and stuff like that. I don't think this has been his best FIFA. In terms of like numbers output, I think it was a lot better last year, certainly on 19 and 18. So for me, I would probably put him like a B plus, A minus, just based on I don't think it's been the best year for him. So
For me,
obviously at the
go
moment
on,
I'll
sorry.
stick him in B plus to see what you say.
For me, Bailey would probably be an A. Obviously, this year is obviously it's a bit hard for attackers to stand out this year because of how like assisted the game is for defenders.
Yeah, it's the
Uh,
auto blocking's a disgrace. So you would put him in A, and I've put him B plus.
but he hasn't really played striker this year. He's been more playing cam, and like cam's hard to play as it is.
Cam's absolute brutal to play. There's no actual standards. I will say this for Bailey, he's actually one of my tougher opponents as a defender. I find him a bit of a pain in the arse to play against. Um, there's
Yeah,
other guys who are really rated quite highly. I find it quite easy to play against. But so he jumps to A immediately because obviously if I've B plus to A minus him and you've A'd him, his aggregate would be
yeah.
A. Um, right, well, we'll jump on to the next one, which is Killian. I always have a bit of a joke, and I call Killian a B Tech Dilskin. I don't know if you can see where I get that from, but I do think he reminds me a lot of Dylan in terms of his style and stuff, but I don't obviously think he's as good as Dylan. Um, he is another one that's a bit up in the arse. So he kind of hangs out wide, and like he does he all like remember the thing Gilly used to do. He used to do it when he was really OP. He used to hang wide and then run in after line,
Yeah.
and like split off the centre back and the full back and catch the full back sleeping. Basically, he kind of does that, but no, I wouldn't say again he doesn't do it as good as Gilly does, but his actual style on the ball reminds me a lot of Dylan. But as I say, no is good. Killian again, I would probably put him in a B plus.
For me, it'd probably be a low B
A low B.
personally.
So
Yeah,
like see
not
me
really seen
that's
him before.
when we're doing this,
No,
what
he's
would
better on
you
white.
just like give your reasons for obviously why you're putting him there?
Well, in B for me because obviously he doesn't really play in that standout teams, so it's hard to comment. 'Cause I haven't seen much of him in like a good team in his own team and how they play.
Yeah,
Evolve was his team, wasn't he? He was playing like they just play lump ball every 2 seconds and just defend. So he's
yeah.
playing on the counter.
Right, so that
He doesn't really get any chances.
sticks Killian in a B. Right, so next one I have to go with again, and then you do the next three. You start off with the next three.
Yeah,
So Mark Dev, Mark for me is a really strange one, because I think you can get two different Mark Devs. I think you can get an absolute D category bomb scare Mark Dev, or you can get an absolute S tier, absolutely insane Mark Dev. I don't think you get any middle ground with him. I think he's quite an inconsistent guy. Although personally
yeah,
speaking, when I've played with him, I always found him to be really good, and very rarely did I get the bomb scare mark. He's good on the ball. Although I think when he went in with the pros and stuff, I don't know if it went his head. I don't know if that's the right word to say because we're playing a game, but it was as if he got too composed, and I felt like it would get him caught out and stuff. I don't know if that was the best team for him. I think Mark would be a lot better in certain teams, rather than like a. I don't think I don't know. I'm trying to like the way I'm trying to explain it is that I know they're like heavy possession based, and he is good for a possession based team, but I just don't think that they suited him personally speaking. Um, but again, I don't not rate him, but I don't rate him like as one of the absolute top centre backs. I'll probably put Mark in like an A minus because as I say, I do rate him, but no, I don't think he's like top tier.
For me, I put him in B plus, but my verdict is I just want to say something before I comment on every other defender. It's hard to say who's like really good and who's really bad this FIFA because of like how assisted it is. Like you don't need to even press tackle anymore. You
No,
don't even need to hold A to
no.
like block shots. The game just does it for you. So it's
Actually,
really hard
like
to comment.
something I did this year was change my buttons because I knew that this year I could because I do run it in press tackle, as you obviously know. I'll run it in press tackle, so I went through a phase of changing my buttons a bit. I'd always threatened to do it since about 14, 15. When you change the A and the B button.
Yeah.
So like if you're in the box and you're spamming to clear the ball with your for me it's my X button, but your B button, like you would stamp the ground sometimes, give away penalties or that. Whereas now, if I do that, when I spam that, the worst thing that will happen to me is I'll hit the contain button. So it's like which means if they hit a shot or something, what will block. Anyway, that puts Mark in B basically because both of us have stuck him in B, didn't we?
Yeah. I think there'll be more like standout people in next season. With obviously what's come out in the pitch notes, saying it's more manual based and like
Yeah,
you can
no,
actually press the
definitely,
like,
aye, defo.
block and stuff.
I've been playing manual all year anyway. I don't play with assisted jockey and that on anyway. It's the first couple of weeks. Muller said to me, "Do you know you can turn off manual jockey?" So I was like, "No, I didn't know." So went in, changed the settings, and then it was like me, Animal, basically all the Unity centre backs at the time. Me, Animal, and Bucks. It was. You were in the team, obviously, so you know we all had manual. None of us had none of our midfield or none of our team basically had assisted jockey on. Because I found that to my cost when I went on the ultimate team, it was completely different, and you felt like you were ice skating about the pitch. Whereas on clubs, because
I
you're
don't know
controlling
what
one guy, yeah, it's completely different. So I was having to turn it on and off as when I was playing ultimate team because I couldn't play manual on ultimate team. I was just getting ripped. But aye, right. So you have to start with porridge, Univar, and Pogs. So I'll let you rip with porridge.
Porridge would be a low A for me. He's been playing for a few years now. Obviously, I've known him from Ultimate Team. That's where he like originally came from. And with like the Ultra lot.
So where are you rating them? Are you rating them in DM or Cam?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know specifically where his actual best position is. Like, because I've seen him play centre back. He's not a bad centre back. Like DM, he's actually pretty good. He plays a bigger build, so he's there for like
Yeah.
obviously in set and stuff. He's good in that. But
So
attacking mid, he's good. He's pretty good overall. But
so you put
specifically for like DM, I'd probably put in probably high B in the DM.
so you would put them in B.
Yeah, high B.
Yeah, he's a hard one because I do remember playing him and when he was in Cam, and I think he just got snuffed out too much, just drifted out of games too much. But later on in the game, he became a DM where I rated him more than I rated him in Cam. But obviously, he's done both positions, so you need to kind of judge him on both. So
Yeah.
based on that, I would probably agree with you and say like a B plus, something like that. But I mean that just basically puts him in B.
Yeah.
Um, right, next one's Joe Univar.
With another, it's probably one of the better standout defenders this year on a game, which is actually, as I said, it's hard to judge who's actually really good and who's really bad defender. But like basing it also off your last list, if Drizzy and Kai are in S, then Joe has to be in S as well
You think Joe's
because
S
of what
tier?
they've won. Yeah, because of what they've won. Obviously, with Aftermath, they've won the most. So
Yeah, but I don't agree that just because you're in a team means you go straight into S tier. I've won a tournament last night because I'm in with good players, like, you know what I mean? And
For me, he's more of one of the standout mode vendors that he's a bit good at everything.
I don't
And
know.
passing stuff.
He is. He's good at passing. He's good at passing through the lines. But I do also think he's the one in that defence that can blow up. Like Uti Drizzy Harwood and him, he's the one you'll get a mistake off. He's the one he's the one you'll get you'll get a Y pass in behind or an LBY in behind him.
Yeah.
He's the one for me that's the kind of weaker link. So based on that, I wouldn't S tier him because I think S tier's like, as I say, creme de la creme. I do actually rate him. I played with him in Unity as well. I had him in Unity, one tournament with him in Unity. So for 2 FIFAs, the guy's been winning stuff. You know, I think he won maybe won 3 or 4 in Unity when he was there, and then he's won God knows how many this year, but like 14, 15 or something like that. I mean, that's just an insane amount. So you can't disrespect him. You can't really disrespect anybody in that team, but I don't think he's S tier, like genuinely speaking. So I would probably like A plus him. You're S tier him, so
Sell him at a high A then.
he's borderline S tier, isn't he? Just if he got rid of that
Yeah.
like Y pass stuff, getting behind him. He might disagree with me saying that, but I've went out to enough tournaments to watch enough of Aftermath to see. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's seen enough of it. The one team that you can judge their players is Aftermath because everybody fucking sees them because they get to multiple finals and stuff.
That's true.
So your last one is Pogs.
So for me, I'd put Pogs in B minus. He's like a good defensive ball winner. Possession, he's okay. Like just your basic passes side to side. Can hit the diagonals LB-wise now and again. But what I see from Pogs, along with like a lot of other people who play in DM, is that when they're in that final third phase, they always try and force that pass that's not really on, when instead of just like recycling next to the DMs. Like
Yeah,
Miller and Jinx are probably the best two. Like that good for it.
yeah,
But he's like
exactly. But that's when
Pogs falls
you're
into that habit of doing it.
if you're judging DMs, that's who you're judging them against. Again, the ones that won. So would be Benuz. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Benuz, Jinx, Mar. You know, that's where you're being judged. That's why. You know, so I mean, I would agree. I would put. Well, I had Pogs in Unity as well, and he's a brilliant ball winner. But I do think his possession recycling isn't he as good as like a lot of other DMs. But his ball winning's a lot better than a lot of other DMs, which obviously pulls him back up. It's like the RN29 syndrome. He'll go like that after a game. Oh, I've got 15 tackles, but I beat lost the boss 7 times. You know what I mean? Like, aye. So B for Pogs. That's your last one. The next one is Dean. I had Dean in Unity for well over a year. I mean, I thought Dean, personally speaking, thought Dean was one of the better wide mids until I understood the meta. And I actually understood the meta pretty quickly because if I don't know if you recall, but we tried to get Hadji to play wide mid in Unity and stuff because we were like, I mean, within 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the game, we were like, we need the wide mids to overlap. They're the ones that's getting the space. But Hadji at that time was refusing point blank to do it because he's seen himself as a striker. But with Dean, I always felt that defensively he was super strong, but offensively he wasn't adding as much. And I think in this FIFA, that's why a lot of strikers converted into wide mids and became very successful wide mids. Whereas with Dean, I always felt that we were going to be solid like as a block and a unit, but I wasn't going to get what I needed going forward. And in saying that, he is tidy on the ball and stuff, and he'll be able to get it into midfield. He knows how to do the 2-bar extinct into the opposite DM and stuff like that. But that overlap and run, that killer instinct, just isn't there. So for that, I would probably put him in B plus.
I have to agree with that pretty much. Like offensively, doesn't really do it for me. After I've played with him and stuff, like he's good and basic, keeps the ball well. He reminds me a bit of like Ray, like one for Ray, Uni Ray.
Yeah.
He's good defensively, but going forward, it's just not really going to give you anything.
Other
So for me,
FIFAs like 18 for example, Dean would be one of the best wide mids in the game, based on his style. But for this FIFA and for what you had to do this FIFA, he wasn't.
So it's more of a quarterback, playing actual fullback.
Yeah. Right. So B for Dean. Next one is Jamie24. This is my current Scotland manager, so I need to be careful what I say here. Jamie, obviously centre back, came to prominence there the last couple of years. Jamie's kind of reminds me a bit like Mark Dev, but no in playstyle, just in terms of he can be absolutely unreal, or he can blow up and just do stupid stuff. He's really good in 1v1 defending. I think his overall ball distribution is shocking. I think it's pretty terrible, to be honest. I think it's like on a par with mine. But his defending, his positioning, his actual defending is really, really good. Just obviously lets you sell down with the with the passing and the distribution and stuff. Yeah, I'd probably put Jamie in the A, just flat straight A. I think he's a really good defender. You can win multiple tournaments. Jamie's the sort of guy you can win with multiple tournaments, dependable. Just obviously, as I say, when you go into, you'll not go higher, you'll not go up to S tier or that, because his distribution isn't spot on.
See, with mine's complete opposite. I would have put him in C.
Really?
Because, like you said, I think I see defenders differently on this game, obviously, because I've said it's hard to actually judge who's actually really good, because the game does it for you automatically.
Right,
and obviously, how I critique a defender this time, obviously, a lot of the more successful teams this year have been having defenders that can actually like build up from the back as well. And, like, they're actually good at defending, obviously, of course.
Right, okay, well, that aggregates them into B, because obviously if I've A'd them and you've C'd them, then the aggregate is B. That's fine. Yeah. My last one on it, Scottish.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, okay, so with Kyle was...
You fucking sweaty cunt!
Fuck's sake, hold on, I turn my notifications off. I didn't realise I had them on. Fuck, did that just come on? Right, here we go. Right, Scottish is an interesting one for me, because if you look at Kyle on 18, 19 and even 20, he would remind me of somebody like Ray or Dean. Do you know what I mean? He would be very similar to them, good defensively, knows good attacking, but this is what I'll say about him. He has grinded this year, and I think his attacking play is a lot better than what Dean's or Ray's is. So I would rate him obviously higher than them, based on the fact that he's grinded the game and he's got good at both defending and attacking. So I would probably put Kyle straight into A. I do think he's better than, as I said, I do think he's better than Ray now, and I think he's better than Dean in terms of like his attacking play, and I think he's as good as them defensively. Very vocal as well. He obviously has his own ideas, which I disagree with, but that doesn't. Yeah. We're not rating people on managerial styles or that. We're just rating based on the play. And for this FIFA, I would say that he's been one of the better wide mids, so definitely put him in A.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's A, but I think he's better in attacking than he is defending this year, for sure. He's still good defensively, but again, he's like one of them like, you can catch out with an LBY sometimes. Just obviously because he's a bit more offensive now, he knows what he's doing in the attack and that's contributing. He's good at like dinking it into the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, he knows the 2.5 bar X thing. He's what would you call it? It's winning my heat now. But A. I just put some straight in A then. That was my last 1 minute, so we're on to you again.
Yeah.
Right, so Crunch, this is filthy Crunch.
I put Crunch in C tier again because in possession he's a bit suspect, and again I can't really comment on defenders as much because it's, as I said, it's hard to see who's actually really good and who's really bad. But like, so for me, it would be in C tier. But obviously, there's a lot more to it than just being able to block and header a ball, which is obviously he's good at. He's good at winning his headers from corners and stuff. It's not me out of a couple of tournaments doing it, so but as an out-and-out defender, it's hard to question whether he's really good or really bad. So for me, I'd probably put him in C tier.
Because the thing is whether a team is an attack. I think defending this year is harder for teams that try and attack than teams that sit in blocks. So it's like. Yeah. You know, it's like even when we've been shite, we've tried to attack, so we'll just get counter-metered like all the time, and that's when you can see who's good or bad at defending, because your positioning has to be good. is you know what it's like because you played centre back this year, but you could be sitting there and you could defend like 20 fucking 3v3s and then just at one time bang their in goal on when they're counter attacking you, and that's all it takes. You could have played a blinder all game and you're just anyway. That's kind of have to beaten track, but with Crunch, I'd probably put him in a B. As you say, I've never seen him until this FIFA, and that immediately raises a red flag because I think as low as the skill gaps go over the course of 19, 20 and 21, I think that the defensive skill gap is as low as it's ever been. I don't remember another FIFA being as easy defending and a low block as this one. Playing 6'6" in the middle, it's just scarecrow material to me. You've probably heard me saying that before, but it's just standing there, odd LT, and the game does everything for you. Like, so I don't rate many guys in centre back that I've not seen in previous FIFAs. So I would probably put them in B, whereas you've got them in C, but so we'll put them into C then. So I'd probably be B minus, and you've got them in C, so probably aggregates the score. Right, Araujo, it's you.
Araujo, I'd put B plus. Obviously, I think he is one of the better wide mids this year. Like, he's good in their like French teams. He went into Aftermath. He won in Aftermath as well. At that period, they replaced a couple of players. So I'd probably put him in B plus. Like, he's good in possession. Knows how to defend. Knows how to attack. And he plays a bigger build, doesn't he? So like when the French lot get along through him, like he always used to win all the headers and they just retain possession all the time. It was a bit of a problem to play back post crosses.
Well, I had my opinion on him before I'd played with him, and I coincidentally played with him last night in the Cactus. It never changed my opinion on him. I always felt that he was reasonably good mechanically, decent at skills, good at bringing other people into play, good out ball in the air. And I actually played wide mid myself and came up against him a couple of times, and he was quite good as well. But I didn't feel like he was like my hardest opponent I'd ever played, but I could tell that he was really good in terms of his mechanics and stuff. So I'd probably agree with you. I don't rate him as high as some wide mids, but I do rate him highly. I don't think he's as good as Scottish, but I don't think he's a bit in the arse off it. So I'll probably be the same as you. I'll probably B plus him as well. So the two's a B plus him. That sticks him in B basically. Was that was your second 1 minute? So your last one's Hayes.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Again, Hayes is in B plus because I'm not sure where he actually plays. Obviously, in class he was wide mid. He's a reasonably good wide mid. He knows how to play possession, but obviously in that class team and how they play, like it's a bit of a hard topic to discuss because it's disgusting and stuff. But again, he's like good in possession. I've seen him now change multiple positions. I've seen him playing centre back. It's reasonably good centre back because I know him from like he plays ultimate team and stuff. So probably B plus him because he's quite good in a couple of positions.
Yeah, Hayes an interesting one as well. I don't remember Hayes again for last FIFA or that, but I think anybody that kind of stands out in this FIFA and in positions near attacker that I think is obviously got to be reasonably decent because as we're saying that the skill gap's so low defensively, it's so hard to break teams down, and he's somebody that I've noticed is when I've seen him against my own team or I've seen him against other teams, he's always somebody that's posing a danger, good finishing and stuff like that, good at skills, reasonably good at mechanics and stuff. Again, I would rate him higher than Araujo, but I wouldn't rate him as good as Scottish. So I'd probably A minus him. Because then that would put him in between the two. It's a pity we don't have like a plus and a minus, but it's just got S, A, B, and C and D. But because I do rate him in between the two, but that puts him in B, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, me, AFC Finn. Somebody I actually rate very highly because he can play a multitude of positions extremely well, which is always a sign of a very, very good FIFA player. I've seen him play cam well, I've seen him play DM well, I've seen him play wide mid well, and I've seen him play centre back well. Not just well, like really well, like no, it does no cost or no be unflattering. He'll be good everywhere he goes. So based on that, based on the fact that he can play a multitude of positions, I would put him in A.
Yeah, I agree. I'd put him in A. But the only problem I have with him is I actually don't know what position he plays. That's the only problem. I know he's good in multiple positions. Played
Yeah,
VFL with him. He's played wide mid. He's played centre back. For me, I think his best position is centre back. Like he's actually like very good on the ball. He knows how to defend one-on-ones very well. So personally, like if he's at centre back, I'd probably put him in A.
I really liked him at I really liked him in centre back and wide mid. So A for him.
Yeah, they'd mirror his best.
Next one is Redinho, or as you know him, Ganzo. Excuse me. Obviously, like he's been about the scene for absolute years, the same as us, and he's always been a standout every year. He's always been one of the best French players, always been one of the best players on the scene in terms of attack. Actually, I mean, no for me because I play centre back, but a lot of people tell me he's really difficult to play with, because you don't know what he's actually going to do. He's extremely unorthodox. Like one game he can be like playing and bringing people into playing, and the next game he can be like fucking spamming the stick, let's say. But he gets the goals. He wins tournaments. Obviously, he went into Aftermath and he was doing it in there. I've seen a multitude of goals from him that were really important goals. He's won with Golden, won with Armour. Just basically like a serial winner over the years. So I would probably, I wouldn't S tier him. I don't think he's the absolute creme de la creme. But I would definitely like A plus him. I don't think he's a boot in the arse half it.
I agree. He's A plus. I don't think he's any better than Dalians for like striker, but in his own teams, like the French teams, he is probably the best striker at the French lot, along with Polga.
Yeah, A plus. My last one, cheeky. Oh,
Yeah,
this is my right. Okay. Cheeky is an interesting one for me because he used to play like Lamb or striker for Phoenix, and I always thought he was fucking shocking. I always thought he was absolutely terrible. And I'd played with him a couple of times in teams. And he was just, I don't know, he just didn't have any discipline. He didn't just looking to run and behind all the time. But this FIFA, and obviously tail end of last FIFA, you got him with Gilly and that, and it's completely obviously changed him, changed the dynamics as a player because he's went from being a striker or a lamb that runs in behind to a wide mid that's actually very good defensively and became very good attacking wise. So I mean he's somebody who I've rated over the course of this FIFA, but I've not rated over the course of FIFAs, if that makes sense.
yeah,
I think you're probably in the same category as me here. So I can't
that is
disrespect
true.
what he's done in an Aftermath this year, certainly. I don't think anybody can, but when you've taken him out of Aftermath, I think he goes down a couple of levels. I think there's different reasons for that. I'm not going to go into them because I'm not going to disrespect him because I really like him. But I think he needs to be, in order for him to stay top category, he needs to stay with Gilly. Wherever Gilly goes, he needs to go. I think when you take him out of there, I don't think he's anywhere near as good. But based on this FIFA, which is what we're rating it on, I would put Cheeky straight into A.
Yeah, he's an A for me as well. Like playing with Gilly has actually helped him, I believe, because obviously Gilly drills with team and now they want how he wants him to play it his way, and it's benefited him. Like when I played him with Aftermath and I hear it, what Gilly says to him and stuff, he's just
Yeah.
constantly on his back all the time. Like, but
He's
as you said, over like previous FIFAs, like was pretty much a nobody, like just your bog standard player. But obviously this year alone, he's actually done very well as a wide mid. He scores important goals for them. He's like one of their main goal scorers.
yeah. He's clutched up quite a few times for them. Right, Cheeky into A. Right, sure, shoot with Dom, Keaton, and Linus.
Okay, so with Dom, I think he's got to be the first S tier player on the list. Probably top three striker in this game. He's actually like when I played centre back against him, he's probably one of the harder players to play against. He's actually very difficult to read. He's, as you said, he's a bit like Rodinho, a bit unorthodox. He's just good on the ball. He's very good inside the box. And him and Gilly, the combination they've had this year, obviously propelled Aftermath to win tournament after tournament. So yes, the S tier for me.
Right. I disagree. I don't think he's S tier. And I've got again reasons for that. My reason is that if you take him if you take him away for Gilly, he becomes a different player. I think, as you say, I think what happens, right? For example, so if you take Cheeky and Dom out of there and you put them into Unity, they instantly drop level. And the reason for that is because they then take their own ideas on board and they just play the way they want, which Dom done, by the way, in Unity when I brought him in. He just plays the way he wants and then he becomes a fucking mess, nowhere near the standard of player that you're wanting. Whereas the guy that you're playing against in Aftermath that's well drilled and actually doing what the guys running the team wants, he's a joke. He's really good, and I would base him in S tier in Aftermath, but taking him out of Aftermath I wouldn't. So I would A him. I think he is very good, even out of Aftermath, but I think when he starts all that dribbling shite and all that he does when he's no in there, he doesn't bring other people into the game, he gets greedy, gets huffy, moany. So I would put him in, I would A him for that. Which between me and you, obviously if you've S tiered him and I've A tiered him, would A plus him. So he wouldn't go into S tier based on that, but I don't. The other thing is as well, you need to remember about Dom is the fact that we remember Dom a few years ago.
Yeah, from years ago.
And I could name fucking 30 better strikers than Dom over the years, like easy.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what's happened, whether Dom's just got infinitely better or we've all got infinitely shitter.
But I'm just like basing it upon like the two who are in the A now, like in Bailey and Rodinia. He's definitely better than them this year.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. No, for me. And I play directly against him because I play left centre back, and I think Bailey Ince causes me more problems than Dom. I find Bailey Ince an absolute pain in the arse to play, but Dom, maybe just because I know Dom more and I've played with him a lot more than you have, because I've obviously played small man with him and all that over the years. So I'm not disrespecting him. I think he's very, very good. But as I say, I think when you take him away for Gilly, I think he becomes a different player and definitely no S tier, and that's the reason I won't put him in S tier. But anyway, aggregates him into A, regardless of what either of you say, because you've S tiered him and I've A'd him. So, right, it's Keaton for you now.
Keaton's quite similar to Pogs, I think. Like, again, he plays with a bigger build from what I've seen when he's in his own teams. He's won like a couple of tournaments. He's decent in possession, but again, he's one of those hot-head midfielders where sometimes you'll just pick up the ball and just try a random diagonal pass, which is none, and then just lose possession. But he's a good ball winner. Knows how to play the game. Like, basic possession he's good at. Probably B tier.
Yeah, I've not seen him as much as you. I have obviously seen him floating about different teams, but I think has he been in a multitude of teams this year? He's floated about quite a few teams, isn't he?
I think it's been about 3 or 4.
See, that always worries me as well, is when people are jumping in and out of different teams. Like, I always think that, like, if you're getting in like the top teams and you're not sticking in the top teams, there's obviously an issue. You keep getting in them, so I would say you're on the periphery of being a top player, but you're not getting to stay in them. So there's obviously some sort of issue that people in top teams are seeing, and that's why you're not getting to stay there. I mean, gang, based on what I've seen, as I say, he's not very unflattering. Just ball winner, get the ball, pass it on. I would probably be teeing him and all, but it's doing him a disservice because I've not seen him enough to basically say. But I'm just going to defer to your knowledge of him, and I'll just go B tier with you, because I don't want to put him in DRC having hardly seen the guy, because when I've seen him, he's not been a CRD character. He's not been a CRD category player. Been obviously better than that. Like your last one, mate, Linus.
For me, Linus, he's just below Miller and Jinx as one of the best DMs. I think he's 3rd or 4th this year. After his transition to actually play clubs this year from Ultimate Team. Like when he's played in FIFA.gg and how they play, like they always wanted to keep the ball on the ground and stuff. Like he was very good. And then when he went into Nasty and Jinx and that were looking for a player, I always preferred to Linus for him to get him in. They didn't want to get him in to begin with. And then they got him in, and then they realised how good he was. So for me, Linus would be in A tier.
Okay. I see what you're saying. But for me, when I seen him, because I went through a phase of like analysing my own games, and it just so happens that we played nasty in like a best of 3 or 4, and I personally seen a lot of defensive issues with him. He's really good on the ball. When you get him on the ball, he's really good. His decision making's brilliant, through the lines brilliant, skills mechanically brilliant. But for me, what completely changes him from Marlon Jinx is that defensively, he doesn't know what he's doing, in my opinion. For pro clubs anyway, I just felt that his defensive positioning, he was just non-existent. And I felt like sometimes it was like being a man down. And I wasn't the only one that thought that, by the way, because you know yourself, we used to analyse the videos with like 4, 5, 6, 7 of us sitting there, and it'd be people from multiple teams, and we were all identifying that he had issues defensively. The rest of it is brilliant. You know, the rest of it is S tier material. He's passing through the lines, his skills, his mechanics, and all that is very, very good. So I mean, if he can work on his defensive positioning and and basically getting in amongst it and getting tackles and that, half winning the ball, he's ball winning, he would definitely, in my opinion, be S tier. But I'd agree at the moment he's A. But I'm just obviously explaining why he's only A and no like A plus or S, and that's because I feel like defensively he's not as good as some of the others. So A, both of us got him in A anyway. Right, Adam Ola. Adam's it's me in it now. Me, Adam, Liam, and Kizzy. Adam's an interesting one because Adam's a multiple position player as well. I don't know what his best position is. Another guy that I had in Unity for a while last year, and I did try and get him in this year, but he seems to be stuck with the same kind of, they all stick together, the same kind of crowd. And Adam's obviously kind of part of that group. Somebody I do rate. He's decent mechanically. He's good at passing through the lines. I don't think he's as good as like Linus, Jinx, Mar, the kind of top ones. But I think he's just after that. So I would probably A minus him because I still think he's very good.
I did put him in there. I think as again, I don't know what his best position is, but like when I've actually seen him play, when I've played against him, 9 times out of 10 he's been in cam, and he's actually been really good in cam. Whereas like it's hard to be good in cam. He's good on the ball, like he knows when to play it quickly. But obviously, I've only seen him in their specific teams because, as you've said, like they all stick in their little bunch there together. So like in that team, he's actually been very good when I played. So I'd put him in like lower class of A.
Lower class of A.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's A then. As I say, it's a pity there's no like a plus and minus because some of these guys would be like plus and some of them would be minus, and it would obviously create a difference. But it's just the way it works. Adam's very good mechanically and stuff. Liam, another one, cheeky bastard Liam at times, but he's very good at games, man. Like whether it's FIFA, whether it's Call of Duty, whether it's fucking Fortnite, just a talented kid all round at gaming. Quite annoying to be honest, because you're sitting there fucking busting your ass trying to get fucking 4 or 5 kills, and this twat's sitting on 20 and 25. Really good in class. I think he, for me, was the absolute linchpin of that team. People might disagree, but I think a lot of stuff went through him. Because he moved about positions as well, played striker, played cam, played DM. I think when he was their cam, I think that's when they were at their best.
I agree.
Just in behind Chapman and Doyle. That was their most kind of clinical attack, and that's when they were winning tournaments. When low start, when they dropped him into DM, I never felt that he had the same influence or they had the same influence on the scene. I think class kind of peaked too early this FIFA. Kind of similar to Unity, we peaked too early and then we're just shite the rest of the year. But Liam's definitely mechanically really good if he puts the grind in and stuff. And I don't think there's anybody. I think he's better than everybody in B. And I think he's basically pretty much A category.
Yeah, I'd put him in. Well, personally, I'd put him B plus, but I do agree on like putting him lower A. Again, it's just because that class team at the beginning when they were winning, and obviously he was in cam with Chapman and Doyle. Like he was, as you say, the linchpin of it. But then obviously class fell off like this past year. I don't know if it's because he's stopped playing. I haven't really seen much of him. Obviously,
No,
yeah, they had their D done, didn't they?
for
in
some
class,
reason
so
they moved
I think
him
he
back
left.
to DM. No, they moved him back to DM, and then he left because he got pissed off because they won the running. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd probably put him lower.
yeah,
Just
lower A.
based off the beginning of the year.
Right, next one is Kizzy. Actually somebody I rate very, very, very highly. I don't rate him as S tier because I think defensively I don't think he's as good as some of the others on the list. But I think he's better than, for example, like the guys in there. If you look at the guys on the list, I think he's better than Hayes, Dean, and I know that Killian has played there. I think he's better than all them. But I don't think
Yeah,
he's better than. I don't think he's better than, for example, Scottish Finn or Cheeky there. But I don't think he's a bit in the arse off it. I think if he sorted his defensive game, I think he would be straight S tier as well because his final third stuff and his runs is unbelievable. But his defensive, like he'll cost you a goal, because his defensive shape and stuff's just it just isn't right for me. But I would just put him. He would be straight up A for me.
Yeah, he's an A for me. I agree on the defensive end of having played with him. Like, he doesn't really track his man very well, but like going forward, he's probably one of the best wide mids this year. Like, he's really good on the ball. He knows how to beat a couple of men. Like he can score from out wide. Like Jinx and that spoke highly of him because they wanted him in his team for ages. So for me, he's just below like Cheeky and Hadji, but he's definitely like third or fourth best this year.
Yeah, so you're A him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my last one. So you have to lead with Raj, Polacco, and Carol.
Okay, with Raj, as I said, like with Linus, I think in him being like third or fourth, I think Raj is basically up there. He's probably top five for me. So Raj would be an A. He's good on the ball. Like, the only problem with Raj is he tries a bit too much from DM, but sometimes he gets away with it, and sometimes it reminds me a bit of like old school me when I used to just do daft things in midfield and just try and take people on for the sake of it. But
Yeah,
like, in possession is good.
I know exactly what you're saying. I've had Raj in Unity on and off since FIFA 18 and won stuff with him. And
Yeah.
when you get him, when he's on it, he's unreal. You know, he's like you can put him in and he's like, as you say, he's not a boot in the arse after absolute top lands. Which in my opinion, if you're going to like judge any DM, you judge him off your Miller. I think Miller's the best out of them all. So if you're going to judge anybody, I think you judge him off your Miller, and I think I think Raj is like kind of near that level, at that level kind of thing. But I do think, like you, I think sometimes he can get a wee bit too dribble happy in there. But I think that happens when he's bored. It happens because tournaments are for money. It happens less so, which means this year he's been more consistent. Whereas, like for example, last year it would be more ODCs were getting played in sessions and stuff, and the year before was sessions and an occasional tournament. So that's when you would see all that stupid stuff off him, which would obviously lower him. But this year he's been obviously way more consistent because he's putting his own money in, and nobody's fucking about when they're putting cash in. So I would definitely A category Raj. I think Raj is very good mechanically as well. Knows the skills and that, knows the metas, can pass through the lines. Just generally an all round good DM.
From my own standpoint, when I played DM, like you look at relationships from DM, like Miller and Jinx obviously stand out too when they play together, know each other inside out. When I played DM and I played DM with Raj, I feel like with Raj, like there's a connection there. Like I know what he's gonna do, he knows what I'm gonna do, so like it benefits each other.
Right, Raj is A then. He's starting to get a bit stacked. Right, Polacco.
El Polaco, sheer. Again, it's hard being an attacker. Good on all team. Obviously, he's a pro and stuff. He's doing very well on there. I have to put him low A. Ultra have won a couple of things with him, but I wouldn't say he's any better than like Bailey again. So A plus. He's good mechanically. He knows the game inside out, and like it's a bit of a problem. But like out wide, I think he's better. When Ultra played 4-2-3-1, he was the lad.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Like,
about to ask you.
He's always
where are we
but like,
actually rating him though? Are we rating him in striker, or are we rating him in cam, or are we rating him out wide? Because if we're rating him out wide, then I rate him higher. But if we're rating him in striker, I rate him much lower. So,
there's like a Well, everyone's playing 3-5-2, aren't they? So that striker.
They've played 4-2-3-1 pretty much all year though. Them Ultra's
They
been
did switch. They did switch to 3-5-2 though.
yeah.
So I'd probably put him low.
Yeah, well, I mean, in
I don't think he's
striker,
that hard.
I would rate him as B. I don't think he causes many problems, but in Lam, where I think he was more dangerous, and I'd played fallback against him, and he was a hard opponent, and he was tough. But then I've played against him when he's in striker, and I just didn't think he had anything. You know, just felt comfortable when he was on the ball. You just felt comfortable you could get it off him. But when he's wide, it's a lot harder out wide, as you know, because you get isolated in 1v1s and stuff. Whereas in the middle, you can like show somebody into somebody else. So I would.
The only problem with him in striker is like he's very tunnel vision, so he'll do things like his own way. He'll try and beat people by himself all the time, try and shoot by himself. He'll never look for like one more and stuff. That's any criticism I have of him.
Yeah, but
That's a
bit like Rodinho, except Rodinho's better at it. He can get a bit tunnel vision. I would probably B plus him. Just based on this year, I don't think he's been as good as what he had been the year before or whatever. And as I say, I think striker, I just don't really rate him as good as I rate the other strikers in there. So I would probably like B plus him, you A minus them. So he goes into B.
B.
B. Right, your last one, Carol. Or Fag.
Carol, I would put in A. He's good in multiple positions. He's won tournaments in multiple positions. So for me, he has to be an A straight away. It's like in DM alone, his best position. He's probably in top third. He's good in possession. Like he's good at winning the ball. I think he's good at going forward with the ball, but he's actually very good defensively as well. So
well,
I've seen him play centre back
because I've obviously I played with him a lot this year, and I just don't think it was his FIFA. I just don't think it suited him at all. I don't think he was good at ball winning at all. Good on the ball, but he can get a wee bit too twisty and turny. He gets like you or Raj syndrome. He'll try and twist and turn too much, and sometimes he'll get out, but sometimes he'll get caught, and it just puts you under serious pressure. That is the best. That is what the best day. If you actually look at the best DMs, like at the start of this year, for example, Jinx would lose the ball multiple times in front of the defence, but we were like, again, you'll remember, we were like, no, just keep doing it, because if you get out that press and you get out that turn, we're away, we're gone. No, we're on a counter, or you've beat 3-4 players like with one move, you know. So we just kept telling them to do it, and it obviously got better and better and better at it as the year went on. But Carroll's reminds me of that, but unfortunately for him, he played in a lower quality Unity team than Jinx. Because I mean, the whole year since you all left, I spent the whole year trying to find wide mids that were capable of doing anything, and they weren't. We just couldn't. It was basically our whole year lived and died by the wide mids, because we had good players down the middle, you know, but we just couldn't. We just didn't have the wide mids. They just didn't know. They either didn't know how to overlap, or they didn't know how to defend, or they didn't know how to do the 2.5 bar X thing inside. Like they could just get caught in possession all the time. So I think he's a victim of that. But based on what I've seen him this year, I would probably B plus him. I don't think he's been as good as Raj, Linus, or guys like that this year. So I would probably B plus him.
I've seen him like, what team was he in? He was in Humpelump, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When he played centre back alongside AFC Finham, and like they were very good then. I think he is a good defender. It's just like maybe it's position.
He's he played centre back in Unity and he was brilliant. But I mean, that's not where I'm judging him. I'm judging him in DM where he's been this whole year. So mostly. So I mean, what did you do? Did you straight A him or A minus him?
I put him straight away because he can play multiple positions and he's won tournaments.
I B plus him, so that puts him in A as well. Yeah, friends for C, but obviously, I think you probably agree with what I'm saying because we spoke about it. Right, Turk or Hador the Door as his gamer tag is, but it's, I think we all as old school guys know him as Turk. Is it Marlead with Turk? Isn't it?
It is.
Very, very, very good player, I think, in multiple positions as well, and has been for a number of years. I mean, again, I would rate him as one of one of the better DMs, one of really good centre back as well. And when it's no coincidence to me that when he was in Ultra and then he moved to Oompa Loompa, obviously along with one or two others that they won. Started winning, and then when he went back to Ultra, they got infinitely better again. So I rate him very highly. I would just straight up A him.
Yeah, he's A-tier for me as well. He's kind of similar to me. He can like pretty much play every single position. He's actually very good in every single position he plays.
Yeah. There's not really much to be said on him, is there? He's just a good player. Just like he's like Finn, he's just a good player. Like, put him anywhere and he'll be good. I couldn't fit your full name in, mate. That's why it's like that. Alright, next one's top. Interesting one for me because I think you can win with top. But I don't know what the fuck Top's doing half the time, and I don't even think he knows what he's doing half the time. He's got Chapman syndrome. He's I mean, I've played Top against him, and I've had him in my team, and I've seen him be completely unplayable. But then for the next 4 or 5 games, he's just anonymous, losing the ball all the place, doing random LBYs and just random weird passes, and won't play double A's, and then, as I say, then the next game he'll rock up and he'll be like fucking laying on 5 or 6 chances. He's just such an odd player for me, but I don't think it's been his year. I don't think he's grinded clubs. So I would probably put Topped in B.
Put him in low B as well. It's just been a bit anonymous this year, hasn't it? So,
Yeah.
like, on his day, he's good. Like, he knows the game when he actually plays it. It's just like, I think he's one of them again. Like, he needs a bit of a gilly there, like, to drill it into him, like make him do what he wants him to do.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because that is where he shined the best. Aye. So
He was in Aftermath for
Top goes into
a month or so.
So if I had L, is that my last one?
Yeah.
I had done Turk and Top, so L. Well, I'm not just saying this because he's my mate, but for anybody not to play the game for 2-3 years and then come back and win 3 tournaments in a row, instantaneously steadies defences, come into Unity, and I could see instantly the difference. Knows when to step, knows the mechanics. I mean, he's running about with like an 82, 83 rated pro, and he's making guys look stupid. For me, he's straight up S tier material. I think that's how good he is. Always think he's been very, very good since the first time I ever seen him was FIFA 13. And he's been like an A or an S every single year. But for what he done this year, to just come stroll in to the scene and come in and start winning, I think he's S tier.
So opinions divided. I'm basing it obviously old school now, VD days and stuff. Like, he was probably one of the best defenders. Absolutely this year. As you said, like, he's only just come back in with low rated pro. I would have put him B tier, just this FIFA. But like, if you're basing it from like years and years back, he was up there. He was like probably one of the first defenders who actually like initiated playing out of defense and stuff.
I don't know how you can say he would be B tier this year when he's got a record of something like 8 wins in 10 tournaments.
I haven't really seen him play, that's the problem.
Played about 10 tournaments this year and won 8.
I haven't seen him play.
Like, that's crazy. No, that's absolute crazy stats. Honestly, like, just like, aye, very, very good. Like, just understood the mechanics.
I wouldn't say better than Bell, that's all.
If you beat him, see, I would. If you beat him and I've estimate puts him into A. The next one is Jinx. Which is you, innit? You need to establish where are we rating Jinx? Are we rating him in striker or are we rating him in DM?
Gotta be DM. Absolutely, he's one.
Right, you're leading anyway, so on you go.
Jinx has to be S tier. If Miller's S tier, the one on par with you, like number 1 and number 2. They can argue between them who's they think first and who thinks second. But their relationship and what they do in the end together, like, nobody comes close to them. That's when they left Aftermath and made Nasty, like, you could see like the little drop off Aftermath had. Like, yeah. They're so crucial to that team and what they do. So like, they're the main. Obviously, you can talk about Gilly like scoring all the important goals and stuff, but like in Aftermath, Miller and Jinx are the ones who do everything basically. Like, they're the mainstay of the team. So for me, Jinx would be S tier, and like, he can play multiple positions. So.
Yeah, he can. He's just a good FIFA. He's just a good FIFA player, like some of the other guys in there. But I do think, obviously, if we're like comparing him against the other good FIFA players, the ones that are good in multiple positions, I think he's probably on this list anyway, the best at them all.
Yeah.
So in DM I would S tier them. If you'd asked me this in the first 2-3 months of the game, I wouldn't have S tiered them. I'd A tiered them. Because as I say, he used to low spawn stuff front of defence, but it's something he obviously worked out his game. Because he transitioned, didn't he, if he'd been an attacking player into a DM, and his ball winning and all that was instantly good, but he would do, he would do some of, some of the stuff attackers will do. Like an attacker will lose the ball 20 times a game and they'll bat an eyelid. But if a fucking DM or a centre back loses the ball once, then everybody's like, "What the fuck you doing?" So he would do that. Every game he would lose it 1, 2, 3 times. But as the years went on, that's completely been eradicated out of his game, and obviously his tournament wins. I think he got to about 3 or 4 finals with Nasty. He's won in Unity. He's won in basically won everywhere he's went this FIFA. So yeah, I would S tier him. I definitely would S tier him as well now. Over the course of the year, so he's the first S tier category one that goes in. Is this your last one, Richie?
I've got Richie and Valor's on next to.
Right,
okay. Richie boy, I would put high B. Like in class, he was at the beginning when they were in class and they were all winning tournaments. I probably would put him in A. Like, he's actually a good defender. He's like very aggressive, knows how to step and stuff. But I think he's more of like, he's suited for that like system how class play. He's a very aggressive player. Like whereas if like he's playing a lower deep block, I don't think he's as good. So like, if I'm saying it specifically for class, it would be low A. But if he's out of class, it's B plus. So just overall,
depends
probably B plus.
Yeah, it depends on the team, doesn't it? I know what you're saying. The other thing is as well about him is that the first 6 months of the game, he was playing all the time, but then he became part time, didn't he? The last kind of 6 months of the game, I think he's like, I don't know what he's doing, if he's working, college, uni, or whatever he's doing. He's another one I had in Unity as well. I actually had him in Univa. We played 4 at the back, and they two went into centre back. And Joe Sweet and Richie stepped. Well, Richie's always been the guy. Like, he's always been a guy that steps. Really, for me, probably best position is a wide centre back that's able to step. Reasonably good in the ball. Pretty good for a defender at Ultimate Team as well, which obviously shows that he understands the kind of the meta of the game.
Yeah.
I would I think I would A tier him. I don't think he's. I think I would A tier Richie. I think he's good enough to get into most teams. Definitely no S tier, but I don't think he's B material. I think he's A.
He's B out of other teams, but when he was in class, he would be A for sure.
I mean that's where he's played in it this year. So can't really judge him anywhere else. You put him B plus, didn't you?
Yeah, so put him into A.
Yeah, that's A then. Right, mate, Val's.
Valor's wide mid main position, isn't he? So I don't think he's as good as who we got on for the A tier. I think it's kind of like Scottish. He's actually pretty good. He's very good attacker. Defensively, I'm not so sure that you can catch him out again. So I'd say he's won with prolific, like the most important tournament this year. So I'd probably B plus him.
Yeah, I've had him in Uni a couple of times, and I thought he was pretty good. Bit unorthodox as well. He doesn't do the runs the way.
He doesn't do the runs like Hadji and stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't make the runs, but he still chips in with goals and stuff. Do you know who is very similar to him actually? Banks. Very, very. I think they're very similar. They're decent going forward. Okay defensively. Again, I don't think he's as good as like Kyle, Kizzy, or Cheeky. In terms of what he's but for prolific, he's really good for them.
Yeah, for his own team, he's very good.
But I know he played in Unity and we got to like a semi or something and got put in pens, and then I know he went into Redemption and won a tournament, so he's obviously no shite. I would probably A minus him, putting him just under that kind of category of like cheeky or Scottish.
Yeah.
What did you B plus them? A minus.
B plus them. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put them in. We'll say B then, because
That's
I
it.
mean, I think it's a wee bit disrespectful to him because I think he's probably better than the guys in B, but I don't think he's as good as the guys
No,
in
he'd
A.
be top of it.
Right, is it me? Jack
Yeah.
McKenzie. Jack is an interesting one. I think Jack's a Marmite player. People either really like him or they don't. Because I've spoke to people about him when he's been in and at Unity helping out and stuff, and folk have said, "Do you rate him?" And I'm like, "Well, I do. I personally rate him," and they don't. And then I've sort of had other people saying, "Oh, you really need to get him. He's really good." So I think it depends who you talk to as to whether they rate Jack or not. For me, I think I like him because he's really vocal and he leads a line in terms of what he wants. You hear fucking double A off him about 40 times a game, but it works because he's always getting shots off and scoring goals, good at running behind, good at skills and stuff. Always seen him as slightly lower level than, let's say, like Dylan, but always thought he was a pain in the arse to play. It's actually always been a pain in the arse for me to play against. We just one of the players I just could never figure out what the fuck he was doing. Whereas other guys like even Dylan, I would know what Dylan was doing. Whether I could get the ball off him or no, but I would know what he was doing. But with Jack, I just never ever knew what he was doing. I'd probably A him, probably put him in A. I think he's as good as guys like Bailey Ince and Rudinho and that. I do think he's at that level, personally speaking. But obviously that goes.
I agree. I do too him as well. He's very good, I think.
You're no disagreement, I said then. Straight up A.
No.
Right, Haji, interesting one, because if it was in striker, he would be like B. Because for me, he just looks to run in behind all the time as a striker, but in wide mid, wow, it just works for him. Really, really good defensively, because he's actually a good FIFA player. That's what a lot of people don't actually understand about him. He's not just a dumb kid. He's actually a good FIFA player as well. But his fucking ego can be through the roof sometimes, man. I think if we're talking wide mids this year, I think he has been the absolute best out them all. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but I think he is I think he is probably the only S tier wide mid this year. For me, anyway.
He's number one or two, like wide mid this year. He's obviously because of what they've won and stuff. Like going forward, like he always scores. That's the thing. Like he's always there. Like he's scores important goals out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Having played with him and stuff and play against him, like he's just always a problem to play against.
Yeah.
It's not even like he does anything like crazy out of the blue. It's just like it's just hard to explain. But it's just
his runs
actually very good.
His runs are just a
And like you said, he's actually really good at defending as well. For how much he like scores and stuff, he's actually he's always on point at defending. He's always tracking his man. He's always there defending, covering.
You're no seeing somebody in behind him, but then the next thing you know, you're looking at their attack and they've got three strikers. One of them's Haji. You're like, how's that? Because we just had the ball and put it in behind him and he won it. It's like, how the fuck is he ghosted into there? I've seen it multiple times, obviously playing against him and playing with him. So for me, he's S tier. I don't know where you're putting him, but
I'd put him in S tier.
Yeah, I think I do think he's the best wide mid this year. But bar none, I don't think there's anybody else.
Well, like you said, like striker and stuff, like he's definitely lower down than like Bailey and stuff. But like just wiping alone is definitely S tier.
You're joking wide mid, but striker, I don't. Striker is no for me. He can't play his back to goal in striker, and he always drags out. He's really good in Lamb, by the way, as well. Lamb or Ram, because again, he likes to play out wide, and then that's where he gets his space. He can make his runs and stuff. But when he's playing in striker, he can't play with his back to goal, in my opinion. So that's why I don't like him in striker, but I really like him wide mid, and I really like him in Lamb. Is Jimmy Caldwell my last one? That's actually no, because I need to do you can't do yourself. But Jimmy Caldwell, and then you do Stan, and then I do you, and then you do Zidane, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Jimmy. Another guy I actually rate quite highly, but he's always sticks about the same kind of people as well. And I think some of these guys, if they branched out into other teams, I do think they would improve massively, and they would actually help improve the teams as well. I think because they stick, for some reason, I don't know why they stick together. Well, I do, because obviously they're mates, right? But in terms of FIFA and in terms of we're playing for money now, So if you keep playing with your mates, you know, it's all right having a core of 3, 4, 5 mates, but if you're playing with 8 or 9 and you're no winning, there's an issue. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be like that. Right, I'm playing for money all the time. Am I playing for enjoyment, or am I playing to win? You know, you look at Aftermath for example. Some of them don't go on, but they fucking know they're going to go there and they're all going to win. So they'll put up with each other. You know, like Gilly and Miller have butted heads, or Haji and fucking Gilly's butted heads, or maybe Drizzy and Haji or whatever. They've all butted heads at some point, but they know they're going to win together, so they'll stick. But if they don't win, they would just literally like they would then mass get ready 4, 5, 6 players and bring in another 4, 5, 6 players that they think they're going to win with. So that's what I don't understand about Jimmy and Adam and all the kind of guys, is that they've been on the periphery of winning all year, but they've just no cleared out the guys that are just no as good as them, or they've just no moved on to teams where they could help improve. You know, so if 2 or 3 of
Yeah, I
them,
get what you mean.
if 2 or 3 of them said, right, we're the best players in this team, we're no winning in this team, let's move to, I don't know, say Hoompa Loompa, right? They would improve infinitely. You know, they would, because they're a good team and all that's been on the periphery, and maybe 2 or 3 players are costing them. You can, it's like there's been a super team created this year, right? Aftermath, but nobody else has created a super team. Nobody else has thought, you know what? Like, if Miller and Jinx are the best 2, let's just go get 3 and 4. Let's just go and get the 3rd and 4th best DMs. Let's just get the 2nd best cam. Let's get like the 3rd and 4th best striker. Like nobody else has done that. Do you know what I mean? Nobody else has thought. It's no been for the lack of trying in my part, because I've tried to bring players in all year, but folk just won't join because whatever gets said in chats or whatever sticks. So if you, for example, Birchy, if you come in next year and people start saying Birchy's a D tier, and they say it all year, you will be a D tier, regardless of whether you're A tier, S tier, or whatever tier. But if the community decides, you know, whatever team you're in is shite, that's it, that team's shite. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You could win 5 tournaments, still pish. It's like Ultra. You know, Ultra get like the disrespect, but then Ultra has been winning tournaments. They're one of the most winningest teams this year, but yet they still get disrespected because communities decided that Ultra's not a good team. Do you know what I'm talking about, or where I'm coming from? So to me, these guys like are really good, but I just don't understand like why they've stuck and put up with mediocrity for some people in their team just because they're mates. But anyway, I would put Jimmy in A tier after that rant. I think he's very good. I would put him in A tier.
Yeah, I'd put him in A tier as well. Best 2 positions are cam and wide mid. So out wide, he's actually very good. He's good at skills, knows how to beat people, good at keeping possession. In cam, he's actually pretty good as well. I've seen him. He uses a different build as well. So a lot of people plays like 5'8" with like a really fat build, so he gets like crazy shot pass. So I've seen him scored like a couple of long shots when I played against him. So.
I think Cam's an absolute dead position now, and it has been on Frostbite for years, to be honest. But he's one of the ones actually rating now.
Like him and Adam.
Both is have A tiered them anyway, so A tier he goes. Right, Stan.
Big Stan. I put him in C tier. Well, it's nothing against the guy. Like he's a nice guy and stuff, but like FIFA ability wise, he's not that good. He's a good ball winner. Can do like the basics, pass the ball backwards, pass the ball sideways, but like one of those that you want him to like break lines and pass the ball forward. He's just not very good at it. It's just like he's good at winning the ball. That's pretty much about it, really.
So
but like the one thing I can get with him is Ultra. Like he's very good at motivating the team to like carry on win up having played with him and stuff. So never like everyone keeps their heads up when they play with him. He's always like drilling into people.
Yeah, she's good at organising his own team.
Yeah.
But do you rate? So do you rate him worse than, let's say, Pogs or Keaton?
Yeah, I would.
Really? Right, okay. Yeah. I mean, I only really see Big Stan when I play against Ultra. And when I've had different people in the team, personally speaking, obviously I'm a centre back, but when I've had other people in the team, they'll say they'll try and push on Stan. Like whenever he gets the ball, they feel like they can get the ball. You know, like so. yeah, they'll push on stand to try and get the ball or whatever because they think there's a mistake in him. But I
He's got
don't
better at it, but he's still like lower than Cogs and Keaton for me.
see. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he's C tier. Like, you know, I don't think he's as good as like the A tier guys. Like, but I don't think he's like miles worse than say anybody in B. Really, I'd probably beat him. You'll
Go
see.
for Bale.
Because there's an aggregate for that, isn't there? Because how the fuck do we split the
Yeah.
aggregate? Usually, like say B minus then. B.
B minus. Yeah.
Hey, you, where you at and judged?
Well, this isn't that, is it? I've played more centre back this year, so I'd probably say so.
If I was judging you in DM, you know yourself, I don't like you in DM. I think you fucking take the piss in there. I don't know how many times you've been in a team. I mean, you've teamed over the years and you're in DM, and I'm like, Birchy, what the fuck you doing in there? And you're like, you'll start laughing or whatever, or you'll just, you know, I just don't know what you're doing in there. Like, I genuinely have no fucking idea what the fuck's going on. And plus, as well, actually, one of the worst DN combinations I've seen this year was you and Topped and Unity. I don't know if you remember, but we had to move Jinx and we put James in there. And we went from having fucking 40% possession to something like 65-70 against the same team. Do you remember that? It was actually it was bogging, man. So I don't like you in DM. I know you're actually good in there, and I know you like, but I don't like you in there. But for centre back, I think you're one of the best centre backs in this game. Composed in the ball, absolutely unreal at 1v1s. Very rarely, if ever, have I seen you being caught out of position. I've won multiple tournaments with you, and well, actually, I've won multiple tournaments with you in my midfield and as well as my defence. But I just think defensively, brilliant for me. I don't know if I would say S. I doubt 100% A plus, but I'm debating S or in centre back. I mean, if it's in DM, it's fucking straight down into B or something because you're a pain in the arse. But for centre back, I think you're better than Univar in centre back. I think you're better. Who else is in there at centre backs? L. The only two in there is L and Univar. I think you're better than Joe, and I think you're as good as L as well. But then it's just L's got that the years. You know, he's done it year after year after year in centre back. But then you have to judge you as well on the fact that centre back's a piss case this year, as you know.
I played it as long as
I'm going to plus you, but I'm going to prefix that with saying that I think you're not about in the arse FS, but I just think it's the longevity thing. Like, if you'd have done like a Drizzy and been doing it every year in centre back, you would just be going into S. But I think it's just because you've done it this year and no done it year after year after year. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's like I'll A plus you, but I think you're better than Joe, and I think you're on a par with L, who I put in S. But I just think it's the longevity thing for me with guys like Drizzy and that. That's why they went into S tier. Anyway, moving on. See Dill, the last one.
So, for me, I'd probably put Zadil in S tier. He's quite similar to Hadji. I think he's better than Hadji going forward. That's the problem. He's very good on the ball. He's very good at like taking people on and stuff. He scores all the time. It's probably like Ultra's main goal scorer. But like he is suspect defensively. He doesn't defend like he's more of a 4-2-3-1 right attacking mid player, isn't he? So and you've seen him in your own teams and stuff. He doesn't defend. Hardly like tracks his man.
If we were rating him in wide mid, I would honestly put him in B. I think he's shocking in wide mid. I think he's absolutely terrible. The reason I'm personally speaking, I'm not going to judge him on wide mid because I judge him as a ram because that's where I've predominantly seen him. That's where he's played in Ultra. That's where I changed my whole formation around him and Hadji playing Lam and Ram. But anyway, if we're going on a wide mid argument, I don't like him there at all. He does not track back. Having played right centre back when he's in right mid, you're basically toast because you're left in multiple 2 and 3v1s game after game after game, and really good teams exploit that. As you well know, they just exploit his side when he's in wide mid. I've seen it multiple times because he does not track at all. Like even if you ask him to, he doesn't track. And I think I think the way he plays and he's bald, that he should be able to track because he plays small. He doesn't play big, so he should be able to traverse something down the line, but he doesn't. He just hangs high and wide all the time. He basically like a ram. But when we played in Unity, him and Haji were told to play like our right and left forward, and they were told to just play after striker all the time and never come back unless we were winning. And then obviously like near the end of the game they would come back and track and stuff like that. And then I allowed the fullbacks to push on and create the width. I in wide mid, nah, I don't like him, but in Ram and
But he's no like.
in
Well, I
Ram,
mean, he's no worse than Kizzy. That's what I'm thinking. Like, he's definitely on par with Kizzy. Like offensively, they're kind of the same. Like neither of them defend. That's the problem with them both in wide mid. Like, they're both good going forward.
yeah, you've S tiered them, ain't you?
Well, in for like right attacking mid, he'd be S tier because like he probably him and Hadji are the best two, I'd say, for that.
Yeah.
Like, role.
I agree. I would definitely S tier him for that, but for wide mid, nah, not for me.
For wide mid, it'd be A for me.
Yeah, same here. So how the fuck we got to judge that? If we both put them in wide mid, actually, like I said B, but that's a disservice to me. You're looking at the list he has. He basically is very, very similar to Kizzy. Actually, you're right about that. But his defending, I just don't like his defending at all. So we're saying S for one position and A for the other.
Yeah.
Can't even, you shite that you can't even put him in between. You know what I mean? Can't even put him in between. But I think we're both going to judge him on Ram. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm Ram.
Right, so he's S tier then. Because we have to just pick a position for him. And he's predominantly played there all year, not last year. Well, that's done the list, mate.
Sweet. I think we've got it. Fine.
So we can save that. Save that. Now. Opinion based list. Right. You can dump that in and they can all agree about that. And then they can watch the video. I'll share the list on Twitter.
Yeah, do it.
There you go.
Perfect timing as well because my headphones were just about to go off.
Right, that's it tweeted, mate.
Sweet.
G Cruyff in it.
Jake Cruyff.
Or Jake Cruyff. There we go, mate. Tweeted.
Lovely.
Right, Birchy, thanks very much for doing this with me. I do appreciate it. I'll get the video probably about tomorrow by the time I render it and all that. Cut it up or whatever, or add anything on it. It's been 1 hour and 18 minutes of fun.
Glad to share my opinions.
No bother, mate. Thanks for doing it. Maybe we can do something else in the future.
Yeah, go for it.
Anyway, I'll catch you later, buddy.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody else for watching the video, I guess, when you see it.